Who we got today? Stilo Bundles.
All right, here we are. Here we go. 2.
What's down, world? What's down, world? This your boy, Stilo Bundles. I'm out here in Baltimore, man, with my girl Ray and my boy Dodge, man. We live on the Chicken and Rice podcast, you heard me? Get at me. Yeah.
Hey, yo. Thanks for sharing part of your day with us. This is the Chicken and Rice Podcast. I'm Dodge P, and I'm here with my best friend, my confidant, my right-hand woman, the most beautiful girl in the world inside and out, my wife. Say hello, baby.
Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome. I'm Ray, and I'm so excited to share our journey and everything in between with you guys. The best part about it, I get to do it with my husband and my very best friend. I really couldn't ask for anything better than that. I love you, babe. You the shh. Now let's do this.
You, the Chicken and Rice Podcast, episode 22?
Deuce.
22. Okay, cool. I always forget what podcast, what episode it is. And as I'm fumbling through my notes, I can't seem to pull up anything on my phone. I don't know what's going on. This shit is crazy.
Can you see the screen?
What screen? Whose screen?
The screen?
No, of course not. Of course not. I'm just peeking through the little creases and crevices through the equipment. So I got to pull up my notes on my phone or else. So episode 22, the Chicken and Rice Podcast. I'm your guy, Dodge P.
I'm your girl, Ray P. Is that
That's
all
not
right?
Still, you almost got it.
Oh, boy.
Almost, but no prize. Where is my list? Okay, here we go. Wait a minute. I haven't. Where? Okay, there we go. All right, cool. So, week after. Black History Month. For whatever that's worth. Interesting at the job, they have this banner on all the LCDs at the job that says Black History Month 2020.
Do you feel some type of way about it being the shortest month?
No, not at all.
Because I hear a lot of complaints about that. And
about Black History Month being in February?
Being in February, and it's the shortest month of the year.
So, to play devil's advocate, who else has a month dedicated to their race?
No one.
Okay, that's how I look at it.
Right.
So, being that it's only 28 days, sometimes 29.
Yeah, was it leap year?
Yeah, every 4 years. I don't even know. Like, when I was younger, I used to remember all that shit. Like,
right.
It's leap year, Now, I don't even know. Like, I can't even remember holidays sometimes. So, for me, it doesn't bother me that Black History Month is the shortest month of the year. I look at it like no other race has an entire month devoted to them.
Right.
That's the optimistic side of looking at things. The pessimistic side could be, if we were all treated equal, there would be no need for Black History Month. So, however, whatever side of the coin you're on, I'll say less complaining and just more enjoying life, and things will work out in the end for you, I guess. So that's how I feel. But we have even these banners on the every screen. So every screen in the conference room, every screen in the meeting rooms, every screen in the lounges, it has this banner up that says Black History Month 2020.
Right.
I don't understand it because 90% of the screens you can't see unless you actually walk into the room. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm confused as to why it's done that way. It's almost like a slap in the face. Like, yeah, we see y'all, so here, enjoy this. And I don't know. To me, it's a little weird. But what can I do? You know what I mean? I don't have any say in that. But I thought it wasn't a good idea when they decided to do it. But hey, it is what it is. I allow these people to, do whatever they want. So.
Okay.
Super Bowl yesterday.
Yes.
I fell asleep in the third quarter, I think. Or the fourth quarter.
I actually watched the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have a side that.
Sure.
Whatever. It's not my team. It's not my home team. Mm-hmm. But I was rooting for Andy Reid. I actually wanted to see him take one home. So, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a decent game. It was you weren't sure who was gonna win. It wasn't like the score was so way off that no
Right.
one could catch up. So games like that are a lot more interesting to me. It keeps you kind of on edge a little bit.
Right.
And it was a decent game. What did you think about the halftime performance?
I thought J-Lo looked like J-Lo had on a maxi pad, but
The first outfit?
the first outfit, because she was hiding her second outfit. I didn't have an opinion. Like I hate to say it all the time, but I'm really jaded, when it comes to women shaking their booty and their boobs. The music, I forgot that Jenny from the block. I forgot that Jennifer Lopez had that many songs. And I told you yesterday, if Shakira was sitting next to me on a bus, I wouldn't even recognize her. So for me, the halftime show wasn't great or bad. It was just a show. The choreography and the stuff was good. I'm always excited to see the electronics and the way they roll those stages out in 5 minutes, put them together, and then roll them out, 10 minutes later, for the second half of the game. So for me, that was exciting, and some of the electronics and the screens that they were dancing on were pretty good.
Okay. So how I felt about it, I thought it was decent. I can't say I was completely blown away.
Right.
One of my favorite Super Bowl performances, and I'm actually not even like a huge fan of this particular artist, but a few years ago it was Katy Perry, and she came out when she did Roar. She actually came out on this ginormous, almost like glass looking, robotic, whatever, giant tiger. And I thought that was super dope. That stole the show right away. So that was actually one of my favorite Super Bowl parts. I really don't remember a ton of performances. I think last year was it Maroon 5? Was it Adam Levine?
I have after the Janet Jackson titty pop out thing, I have no idea who does what.
Well, with the Janet one, that's the only part I remember, because I remember specifically watching it, and then her boob popped out, and then I saw like a star thing, and I was like, oh, and then it went dark real fast, because I'm sure the people were like, oh hell no, like they try to pull a fast one on us, whatever. But I don't remember the actual performance. I really don't remember any of the performances. I just remember that Katy Perry, that when she did hers, she came out on that giant animatronic, whatever it was, thing. And it was super dope. This one, it was very high energy. I know all my Puerto Rican friends are super excited because they had J Balvin, they had Bad Bunny, and of course Shakira and J-Lo. But I can't say I was blown away. It was decent, but I wasn't blown away. So, I don't know. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the whole thing though. So overall, it was decent. I was a little bit disappointed with the commercials. I think that the best commercial was the mortgage one, right? Rocket Mortgage.
Oh, when dude took off his muscles and stuff.
With Jason Momoa.
It was pretty good. That one was the best to me.
That was the best one because he's so big. I mean, it's he pulls off like
his arms,
muscles, his
arms,
and
his
then
legs.
When he tried to just pick up the bar, I was done.
He pulled off his hair.
He pulled the hair off.
So he had the sunset joint with the bald in the front and the sides were super long. That was the best one.
It was good. I thought that was the best one.
That was actually, I guess they do some kind of Super Bowl commercial rating, and that one wasn't the top. I forget what one was the top. Yeah. It just seems like the one for me. The one I feel like this after the I'm on a horse like years and years and years ago. Like everybody's been trying to recreate that, and they haven't been able to do it. And that's kind of like one of the only Super Bowl commercials that I remember, except for the ones that have just happened on the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, because that one was just crazy. That Old Spice joint.
Yeah.
That one was crazy. That one was super dope, and it was like all one cut, I guess. So from a filmmaking standpoint, that made it incredible. It's nuts. The one that freaked me out, because I misunderstood it, was the one where the old dude was reading the phone, the Google Assistant, I guess, was telling him all the stuff. I thought it was, in the beginning, I thought it was more, but I thought that it was supposed to be his wife talking to him after she had passed. I didn't see the beginning of the commercial. And from what I understand, the wife was in the beginning of the commercial. he had dementia, so the phone was reminding him of all the things about his wife.
Okay.
So when it was put into that context, I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. When I first saw the commercial, I was like, no, thank you. When you pass, I don't want you to be talking to me through my phone about the stuff that you like, because that's what I took from it the first time. Until
I didn't get that, so I was confused at what you were saying.
What did you get when you first saw? Did you see the?
I thought it was just him wanting to remind. I don't know if I saw the woman. I don't think I did see the wife.
Right.
But I just thought it was just reminders, just like, oh, remember this time and we went there, and oh, and you love mint chocolate chip gelato, and blah blah blah. Like, I thought it was just kind of like something to like jog the memory. I didn't think it was. We see. It's funny that as much things that we look at things a certain way and alike, is as many things as we look at things a certain way, and we both interpret it something totally different,
and
like completely different. And I was just like, when you said that, I was like, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was like, no, thank you. But I had only saw like the I don't know. I want to say the second half of the commercial, but when I looked up, all I saw was the phone telling him shit about his wife, and I was like, oh no.
Right.
You know what I mean? Cause like, like what are they trying to do? Some Black Mirror shit here during this commercial? But then when I listened today about all the Super Bowl commercials, they were saying that one was dementia. Like dementia, and that's scary. Because
it is scary. But another commercial that I thought was pretty decent was the Genesis one with Christy Teigen, and John Legend. I love them as a couple.
Truck.
They're awesome.
Oh,
when she was like, guy who has to lean on everybody, lady who's never had plastic surgery,
guy
like
who thinks his outfit is his personality or some shit like that. Yeah, that was pretty
that was a pretty good one.
I was sitting next to you in the waiting room. So yeah,
that was a pretty good one too. I like that one. But overall, I thought the whole thing, I was entertained.
Yeah.
Last year I wasn't interested at all in watching the Super Bowl. I don't even know. It was New England again.
New England, and I think it was the Rams, right?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I think so.
I think it's one of the first Super Bowls in a long time that I didn't even watch.
And it was pretty boring too.
It was pretty boring, and I just wanted to see new teams on there. Like, okay, I get it. Tom Brady is the GOAT.
Right.
He's amazing. I get it. But like, I want to see somebody else play this big game instead of just New England. So it's like, okay, after a while, it's like that with Golden State. I was like, oh my goodness. And look, just with two, their main guys out, is a totally different team.
Well, that's a totally different team anyway. It was funny because the other day I talking to, I have these, I don't want to call them weird, but I have these relationships with other guys, pause, and we were talking about basketball, and he was like, oh, you're watching the 76ers, and always with some smart comment, like some what's it called, like shade, was indirect comment about the Sixers sucking. So what I did, I just went to ESPN and pulled up the standings chart, and his team was the worst in the NBA.
Wait, who is it?
The Golden State Warriors.
No, is it?
Yes.
Oh, it's him. Okay.
And so he was like, oh, and you're gonna talk about my team when two of the best players are. I said, listen, bro, I didn't want to talk about your team. You brought up the Sixers. I was talking about dinner. You talking about the Sixers. So I had to bring up Golden State. And you never wish injury on anyone, but I don't think they're gonna be the Golden State Warriors when these players come back.
Right.
That they were, when they left. You missing KD.
Right.
I think Draymond is trash. By the time they come back, I think D is gonna be gone. So it's gonna be a whole different team, and it's just gonna be like, okay, what do we do now? You know what I mean? Because you can't with those two players. You can't win a championship. I don't even know if you can get far in the conference.
I actually felt the same way that I felt about Golden State a few years ago with Miami, when it was D Wade and LeBron and everyone was on the team and they were always making. And I was just like, please switch it up. Like I get bored with just seeing the same teams, and I can appreciate that it's a good team and that they mesh well together and they can play together and all that. But like at the same time, it's like I want to see something different. Like I don't want to see the same teams over and over and over and over again. It gets very repetitive. It gets very boring.
I don't think it's good for the game.
I don't think so either. That's why when people were going all over the place this year, I thought that was great.
Right.
So it was more evenly distributed, and it was kind of just all over the place instead of just everybody, 3 teams having all the players. So I think it is definitely better for the game.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I understand players have to take control of their own careers and their destinies and stuff like that, but I just think for the integrity of the game, like my opinion is you don't want to pile all the best players on to one team. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So
Right.
I can't stand it, like when I'm playing pickup ball, and I can't stand to watch it professionally, especially with the shitty ass officiating. So you feel like, oh, because you have 3 superstars on this team or 4 superstars on this team or a couple big names on this team, that you can't call the game fairly. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves. It's like, yo, how do you expect anybody to win if you don't play fair? You know what I mean?
Right.
You if one guy drops his shoulder and that guy's name is Mike Jackson and he doesn't get the call, and then LeBron James drops his shoulder and he gets the call,
Right.
that's you're not playing the game fair to me.
Right.
That's just how I look at it, and it's clear as day. So it does make much sense. And I heard one of the commentators the other day talk about who people come to see, and you can't foul them out or do whatever. Well, that's bullshit. In my opinion, that's bullshit. So
The rules are the rules.
Right.
So I don't think that they should be pardoned for certain players because, their name brings people to the game.
Mm-hmm.
No. If they do it, then they do it. And if they
Right.
get fouled out, or then they get fouled out. Like,
Right.
it's just play the game.
It's almost a form, in my opinion, it's almost a form of cheating. It's almost like for instance, I hate to see players flop. I think there should be a fine. I think there is a fine for flopping. But I feel like if you flop, then you're trash, in my opinion. Because what you're doing is you're trying to skew the game. What you're doing is, I actually think it's cheating. As unpopular as that opinion is, I think flopping is cheating. So it just doesn't make sense for me for grown men to act like they got ran over by a truck
Sure.
when they barely got hit by a feather. Yeah, and you're making it's bad enough that they cry on every fucking drive to the basket. Now you flopping like I feel like I get further and further removed from the game because of the players and because of the officiating. So I feel like I got about maybe 5 years left from being interested like in the game as on the professional level. Mm-hmm. I'll probably still play the game,
Right.
recreationally, but like as far as watching, like there used to be seasons where I had to watch every game or as many games as I can. Now it's like, okay, Sixers on, okay, I watch it. Like I'm not even tuning in for the Lakers. I'm not tuning in for the Pelicans. I'm not tuning in for Miami. I'm not tuning in for Milwaukee. I'm not trying to find any of those games. I'm watching the Sixers, and then I'm turning it off. And then a lot of times I'm barely watching them the full game. I might turn it off in the third quarter. Just depends on what the game is, the flow of the game and the officiating. I'm beginning to hate professional sports. It's for as much money as that these owners spend on these players and as much money as the refs make, I think the product could be much, much better.
It can be. But moving on from that, because I feel like we talk a lot about sports on here, which there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm ready to move on to the next topic. What do you have for me today?
I don't have anything.
What do you mean you don't have anything? You have stuff up there.
Well, we'll say something then.
Is it not pulled up on your phone?
I can't see. No, my phone is different from there.
Oh, okay. All right. Can you go up?
There's nothing else there. That's what I'm telling you.
There is something else there because I put it in today.
Let me look here.
The questions.
Let me look here.
We're a little
There are no
unorganized
questions.
today.
So
What do you mean? I wrote it in today in 21 because 22 wasn't up.
there's no question there. That's what I'm telling you. I copied it. There was no question there. Is it in your phone? You got to take a look.
No, I did it on the damn iPad.
What was the question that you had? Do you remember? What would you be
It's
doing?
right there.
Oh, okay.
I said,
can barely
okay.
see it. I don't know. Welcome to the world of technology.
Okay, so basically, I wanted to know. Well, I think I already know.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't doing, you work in a law firm, you're in IT, right?
Yeah,
So
thanks for
you
putting all my business out there, but go ahead.
whatever. You talk about the job.
The
You
job.
talk about the job.
The job.
Anyway, so if you weren't doing that, like, what is your absolute dream job? If there's anything that you could pick that you would be doing, I think I know what it is. You told me before.
Well,
but
to be honest with you, if I had a dream job, I wouldn't be working at all. So my dream job is not to work.
Besides that,
so I understand your question.
oh my God, you have to get so technical and you have to pull
I
stuff
do.
apart.
I do have to
You
pull stuff
told me
apart.
that you would probably be an astronaut or some type of astrophysicist or something that has to do with
probably
with outer space and all that kind of stuff.
Deep space,
So just
going to Mars.
just say that.
So maybe I would. Maybe I don't know. But the thing is, I feel like the older that I get, the more pissed off that I get that I wasn't informed at a younger age. Like, and it gets.
But you can't.
Yes, you can.
Because you are here where you're at now because you weren't informed. So, okay, Shakira.
Like, I'm fascinated with space and like space travel. But that would be a dream job. The dedication that it takes to be an astronaut and the smarts, I'm not sure I have it.
I'm not asking you any of these things.
Yeah.
All I'm asking is what is your dream job? If there's anything in the world you could do and you'd be good at it.
Chippendales dancer?
No. Oh my God.
Okay.
You get on my nerves so bad.
So it would either be an astronaut or maybe even a pilot now. You know what I mean? So
okay.
that's my biggest problem. I didn't have any guidance as a youth. And so now, like, everything that's like wildly interesting to me, I would have done that, or I would have, you know what I mean? I would have done that. I would have done this. But the top two would probably be astronaut or pilot.
Okay.
You know, so to answer your question, straightforward.
Thank you.
But if I answer straightforward, then there's no other dialogue. Then it dies
Yeah,
there.
but you start picking stuff apart.
Yeah, I have to.
Well, what if? And
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, just answer the question.
Okay, astronaut.
See, now you're being a douche. Now you're being a douche.
So what? So now what? So what about?
What about me? Are you gonna ask me?
If you stop talking for a minute, jeez, god damn, I can't even finish my statement.
You finished.
Like,
You
what
said
about?
astronaut.
And then I said, well, what about? And then you interrupted me. Jeez, god damn it, women. I tell you, boy. So if you had the opportunity to start over at high school, you graduated high school, and tomorrow is the next day of the rest of your life.
Right.
What would you do?
So I'm gonna pick my top two.
Oh boy, here we go.
So my top two, I think that the first thing that I would do would be, I would be some type of forensic analyst or something like that.
Like for the police.
For the police
Or the FBI.
The FBI,
CIA.
working for
Crime
murder
scene
cases, crime scene investigator. I'm very, very, very much interested and into that whole scene.
Right. Oh, I know.
The second thing I would probably do would involve animals. So maybe a vet so I can actually help animals and stuff like that.
Right.
Or maybe some type of keeper. Not talking about how much money. This is just like what I would do.
Right.
If I really could do anything that I wanted to do.
Right.
So I love animals and
Right.
I love crime stuff. So
Right.
those are the two things that, I would be involved in. And I'm not. So
You're not what?
I'm not involved in it, but
Yeah.
it would be something that I'd really be interested in.
The keeper thing, that would have to be just for the love. I love animals. Like I love, and it's like I fight with myself. Like I battle with myself because, I told you I'm like a half
of a tree hugger, not a full. I love animals,
Right.
but I eat animals,
Of
so
course.
I feel like
Delicious.
I just feel like I'm like straddling the fence, like.
Right.
But at the same time, it turns me off when people are so far into something that like everything that you do is just wrong and you're
Right.
going to hell and it's bad and
Right.
you know, things like that. So I cut out certain things in my life. I do not wear fur. But then I have like a leather belt and a leather bag. So I'm like, I fight with myself and I wish I didn't have any of these things. And I really wish I did to a point, like
Right.
not wear any of these things or not whatever. But I cut off like a lot of stuff. Like I said, I stopped eating beef 5 years ago. I stopped eating pork 3 years ago. I'm working on the chicken and stuff. So, but I can't, you know, look at somebody eating meat and just be like, ugh, like how dare you? Because I did it for a long time, you know. So I don't, the fur thing, I really think if you wear real fur today, you're a whole asshole. Because everything is out there for you to see how they do it. The cruelty is just, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. And the faux fur today is so good. You can't, who cares? Who cares? You know, why wear real fur? Like it's just, whatever. And do you eat fox? Do you eat chinchilla? Do you eat like, I look at it as at least people eat cows. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Now, do they use that same cow for leather and for meat and this and that? Probably not. But whatever. Like I said, I kind of straddle the fence on that whole thing. But overall, I love animals. So I would definitely be doing something with them.
So you wouldn't. So it's safe to say you probably wouldn't survived back in the day, like when you had to hunt and kill your animal for food and for clothing.
Well, no, because I agree with the way that things were done then. Things were done out of necessity.
Right.
Today, why do we go to a restaurant and need a plate that's like enough for 5 people as your plate? Like, why when you order food, I think it's also us as Americans.
Sure.
Like everything is just it's straight gluttony and
I
it's
agree.
straight it's just overdoing everything.
I agree.
Back in the day, you hunted. Like even the people in Alaska now, like I've seen the show a few times, or Alaskan bush people or whatever, and they'll kill quickly. They'll use every single part of the animal. They'll take their fur to make their shoes and their coats and. You know, when the Native Americans did that, they hunt, they gathered, they ate every single thing. They thanked Mother Nature and the earth for giving this, sustenance and clothing and everything. I agree with that. Like, there are animals out there that are predators.
Sure.
So animals eat other animals.
Right.
We have a choice. So we're omnivores. So we can survive off of meat. We can survive without meat. So back in the day, if I had to hunt, absolutely, I think I could. But also, depending on where you live, if you didn't live somewhere freezing cold or you would freeze to death and it was warm, why not be able to eat all the fruits and vegetables out there and you don't need to eat meat?
Just through my rabbit holing.
Oh, God.
Yeah. What I learned is that, and if you're out there, correct me if I'm wrong, actually the consumption of meat is what helped the brain develop to what we are today. So if that's worth anything, it is, it is what it is. Not to say that it's right or wrong, but the consumption of meat did help us develop do I say stronger brain? I don't know the terminology I want to use. That's one of the things that I consume so much information that a lot of it sticks, but then some of it falls by the wayside. But I do remember, I think I remember hearing that. And I wish I could do something to help me with retaining more memory.
Ginkgo biloba.
I guess.
You need some.
Ginkgo go old head. That's what I'm right now.
No,
so,
I think we just need to cut back some. I just don't think
most definitely.
I just don't think we, with the emissions and all all the stuff that, how many trees they cut down for livestock. Like if you really dive into it, it's so much more than just eating meat. Like we're killing our planet too, and we need everything. We need the animals. We need the land. We need the trees. We need all that, and we just overdo everything.
Of course,
as people, people fucking suck.
Well,
humans suck.
that's a tough one. I definitely, because we go away a lot and we come back, we know that we as Americans overdo it.
Yes.
We
yes.
overdo it.
We're on 1,000 all the time, and we don't need to be.
Right.
Everything is just so overdone.
And it's even like now you used to go to places like what's that one terrible restaurant where you get way too much food? Cheesecake Factory. Where your plate is just overflowing with food that you won't eat at that sitting. You'll take it home and put it in the refrigerator, and you won't eat it the next day because it'll taste like trash.
It tastes like trash in the restaurant. Cheesecake Factory, argue with me, it's probably one of the worst restaurants that I've ever eaten at. And it's because the menu has 10 trillion different things.
Yeah, the menu's like a small book.
You can't
like
make it good. Like, I feel like when a restaurant has their certain main dishes and this and that, that's what they do. That's what they're good at. That's what they perfect. That's what they do. Bam, 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 all day. You have your chefs making. You got Asian food, and you got African food, and you got Indian food. You got this. You got that. You got all this mixed type stuff, and I just feel like it's all over the place. It's too much. It's like overload, and then the food is overload, and then it's just not even good. Like every time I go there and I order anything, it's nasty.
I just think
it's nasty, and then the portion is this big, so I literally just threw away 5 portions of food.
Yes,
in one. Yeah, so no, Cheesecake Factory is horrendous.
Yeah, but I mean, places like that give you way too much food for human consumption in one sitting is crazy. But you know, when you don't have to actually cook it, what I think is it comes out of a freezer, and it goes right on the plate, and then the plate goes through the oven, you know, on the belt, and then it comes out the other end, and you get served. That's what I think. I've never worked in a Cheesecake Factory, but I know, you know, some places, I know that's exactly what happens. That shit comes out the freezer, goes right on the belt, go through the oven or whatever it is, comes out the other side, and boom, you got your meal. So, but and when you begin to eat, it's kind of like G, when he talked about he eats steak, and then I said, how do you eat your steak? And he says, well done. I said, you're not eating steak. You might as well eat a hamburger. And so it's different. When you eat good food, you know what good food tastes like.
And it's funny, though, because I do love and appreciate good food, but I still like my certain little things that are like trash.
Like what?
Like, just like the random BS that I eat. Like, I'm a junk girl. You know what I mean? But
like potato chips.
But even if certain restaurants,
yeah, like, you eat stuff that I can't even put in my mouth, like Vienna sausage.
The chicken.
I can't even.
I like it.
Once that shit comes out, that jelly or jello, whatever that shit. No thanks.
Listen, I like turkey spam. Like, I like some nasty stuff, but it's good to me.
What's the jelly?
This is like the broke people's food that I grew up on. You know what I mean?
I grew up on butter sandwiches.
We grew up as Cambodian. Okay, wait. So this is our broke.
Okay, I'm listening.
Cambodian broke food. Rice with water.
Okay.
Rice with water. Wait. Rice with just soy sauce.
Okay.
Rice with boiled eggs. Rice with fried eggs. Rice with every damn thing that you could think of in the world. Yeah, we had like, you know, the broke people food. Like I grew up on that stuff. So the raw noodles, like they were like our little Asian potato chips. Listen, you grow up on certain things and it doesn't really leave you.
Yeah, all that shit I grew up on left me. You won't catch me with a butter sandwich.
Listen, I still like my broke food. I still like my broke people food. So, and it's because I was broke for a long time.
I'm trying to think. Butter sandwiches.
That's just...
Yeah.
But butter toast is good.
No, butter white bread. That's it. Just butter.
Oh, my mom used to eat the mayonnaise sandwiches. That was kind of nasty.
Mayonnaise sandwiches, right. Mayonnaise sandwiches, butter sandwiches. And not like a big slab of butter, but like, you know, you can spread it and you mush the bread together real thin.
That sounds like something I would like, a butter sandwich. Because at work when I get really hungry, I go get a piece of bread and I just slap some butter on it and I eat it.
And this was like Wonder Bread or whatever we had, you know, in the Northeast.
All right.
What else?
It's good.
Cornbread. So the cornbread lasted, you know, cornbread was Sunday was like the big meal.
Okay.
Grandmother would waste the day cooking. Weird. I don't want to say waste a day, but spend all day cooking And for whatever reason, I don't remember there being leftovers, which is strange. So
Was it just you and your grandma?
I think so. I like my memories from my childhood are very thin, so it's hard to remember. But I think for the most part, just me and her. But still, like you spend all day cooking.
There was no leftovers?
I don't recall having leftovers. So it would be like Sunday. You would have to be in the house at like 4 or whatever to eat dinner.
Okay.
And then, damn, my grandmother was mean because after dinner, like I didn't even get to go back outside. Yeah, I used to have to ask to go outside.
Okay.
And then
I had to ask to go outside.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because my parents, they were super cool and super lenient.
Right.
But at the same time, they were very worried about the children. So, you in? No. That's why when I turned 15 years old, I felt really bad because I was staying out till like 2, 3 in the morning at 15 and 16.
Right.
And I would sneak into the house and my parents would be on the couch, like sleeping, waiting for me to come in.
Yeah.
I was like, damn,
For what?
sorry.
To yell at you?
No.
You got beatings?
When we were little.
Right.
And I didn't get beat like that. My sister used to get her ass whooped. She was the worst. I was a good kid overall.
Right.
I got whooped a couple times, but I was pretty good overall. So I didn't get my ass beat like that. She got her ass beat the most, my sister. Yeah.
Like we used to have to go get our own fucking switches. Like go to the thing, get a switch, and come back. And you'd be like, what kind of medieval torture is this?
No,
shit?
we didn't do that.
Yeah.
We just it was just the hands or a hanger or a belt, but it was something. We didn't pick shit. We just got it.
Yeah, borderline. Like I think we were borderline child abused because we used to have to go get our own whooping tool, and then get whooped with it. Then if you brought one back that was too small, all hell broke loose.
But the small ones would probably hurt more because it's more like a
anything
cut.
hurts. When you getting a whooping, anything hurts.
Oh man, those were the days.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's missing today. Argue with me about that. I think kids need their butts whooped.
I don't think it works though. Like I don't think it ever worked.
I think it worked for me because guess what? I didn't want to get hit.
Yeah,
I got hit a few times and I learned my lesson. I was like, cool. I'm just gonna be good.
I'm not gonna say it doesn't work, but I don't think it got to a point where I just started laughing. Like, come on, fam. Like, doing this.
That's when you know it. And I've seen that before. I've seen a lot of my friends get hit in front of me, which was kind of crazy when you really think about it today because it wasn't taboo back then. It was kind of like we all got hit.
Right.
But I've seen like my girlfriends get literally beat in front of me when I was younger.
Right.
And then even in high school, I saw one of my girlfriends just get smacked up by and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what in the world? Like, okay, once you get hit a certain age, it's kind of weird. But I did see kids before get hit so hard.
Right.
And I'm like flinching. Like, oh, and they're just like, because they're so used to it. Now, then you just got to stop. Now, obviously, it's not working. You need to find another method that's going to work. But I feel like today there's no discipline with a lot of these kids, and they just go completely wild.
Well, just think about it. And it is not the entire case across the entire United States, but let's just say in a lower income neighborhood, and I could be totally off base, but this is just the rationale.
Okay.
Lower income neighborhood. Let's say in the 70s, your mom was probably 20, let's just say 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 when she got pregnant. Okay, cool. There's a 25-year gap. I feel like as we progressed, there was a point where like, yo, she's 17 and pregnant. That was crazy, right? Then it was like, oh, she's 15 and pregnant. Oh, she's 14 and pregnant. So imagine what kind of life you have. 14 and pregnant. You turn 20. You got a 7-year-old. You turn 27. You got a 14-year-old. You haven't even got a chance to live your life.
Right.
It's crazy. Your mom, let's just say she had you at 17, is barely 40. you can't ask your mom to babysit. She living her life.
Right.
So
when I was in middle school, there was a few pregnant girls. Now you're not even teenagers yet.
Right.
In middle school. So
yeah, we didn't know what.
Yeah, we
didn't know what that was about. There was one chick.
Children having children. Yeah.
There was one chick in our little projects that was young and pregnant, and I don't know how she got pregnant because she never came out the house. So that was really weird. And like for us, maybe we was too scared to get our ass beat. I don't know. We just wasn't.
I'm telling you, it worked.
Listen,
it worked over here. It works for me.
I never had to lay hands on the kid. I'm more cerebral, so I'm doing shit that'll fuck with your whole mental, and then that.
I know.
That worked.
I know that did work because I saw
that shit
it.
Was like,
yeah, that was pretty bad.
One time, straightened him up for life, so that was good.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's. It is what it is. Times are different,
right?
But that doesn't mean that that's not an excuse, because I had to go to to Temple today, and I don't like driving, so I took the train down Temple, got off Broad Street. I got off at North Philly, got off at Broad Street, and walked to Temple. It's crazy. I felt great. Like I felt like I felt like I felt the city like pulsing through me. It was kind of warm out today. People was out. The bikes was out.
Right.
Motherfuckers was on their dirt bikes and their quads up and down Broad Street. And I just felt like the pulse of the city running through me. And I felt like all the shit that people think low income neighborhoods are, they are, but there's a layer of good in there that a lot of people miss. Because one thing I noticed today when walking up and down Broad Street and it was popping, I didn't see nobody ice grilling anybody. Everybody was like, yo, what's up? Like speaking to each other. I was like, yo, I don't ever remember it being like this when I was out here. It was always, people looked afraid. People looked hopeless. I'm sorry. They looked hopeless. People was ice grilling. And today it just felt differently. Maybe it's because of the weather. Maybe it was because, I'm in a different place mentally. I don't know. But it felt good to walk up and down the street like in good weather, like in a neighborhood that you would think people would be fearful to travel by foot in. If that makes any sense.
Right.
It kind of shocked me. Like I walked up and walked back, it wasn't probably 20-minute each way after I went to the doctor, and I was like, yo, is it like this all the time? I just don't remember.
Where did you get off?
I got off at North Philly, the North Philadelphia station.
Okay.
And walked up to Temple Hospital, which is about 4, 5, 6 blocks.
Okay.
So, and I was, up past Allegheny, up past, all of that shit. And I was like, oh,
right.
Okay, it's like this out here? I didn't know. On the way back, the Muslim dude tried to sell me oils and shit. He almost got me like, yo, let me ask you your opinion on something. I was like, I know that move. So
yeah, like what you think about this amber musk?
Yeah, let me think. You want some Egyptian musk, my brother?
Some of that sandalwood?
Salam alaikum, brother. Yeah, sandalwood.
I know.
When I was growing up, it was Egyptian musk, and it was something else.
Listen, I know
like,
about
bro, I'm gonna
oils.
go back to Africa. I'm gonna get the real thing. You want me to hook you up?
Yeah, because we got some really good oils from Egypt.
Speaking of that, I'm a little bit pissed. My clumsy ass
knocked over the oil.
I knocked it over into the sink. I spilled like half of that shit out. I was mad because, when I go back, I think I'm gonna have to get the bigger bottles.
Yeah,
but that stuff that's straight from Africa is pretty good. Not to say that the Muslims sell anything different, but I recognized the pickup game that he was trying to run on me. Like, let me ask your opinion to catch you off guard, but. I was like, nah, bro, I gotta catch my train, and it just kept moving. You kept it moving, but it was nice out there.
Hustlers out there,
yeah.
So that's what they do.
I respect the grind. Next podcast, you have to remind me to talk about the because I watched something over the weekend, and I don't want to talk about it because I can't really recall how it was stated, but it was stated that, and we've done it too. Like we've gone to some places and think that they're really poor, or they're we think that they're really poor, but in essence, they're really not compared to what they were in the past. and we don't look at it like that was America only at a different time, maybe 100 years ago. And so as we hit our stride, our economic situation changed, and some of these some of these countries are just hitting their stride.
Okay.
So their economic situation is changing, but because we come from so much, we look at them like they're poor, and they're really not. I'm gonna tighten up my notes on that statement and talk about it next week. But it was really interesting, and it gave me a totally different perspective on the way that I looked at some stuff, because we go to a lot of places and we think, yeah, like these people are poor and this and that and the other, and it's like this one guy was saying like, yo, they're not poor. They're able to send their kids to school. They're able to buy food and shit for their family. They're not poor. They're just in a position where their their economic revolution is just starting, whereas ours in America started 100 years ago, 150 years ago. You know what I mean? So we're way ahead of where they are now, but they'll be there one day. And that changed. It was like sometimes you hear stuff that could change your whole way of thinking. And that was one statement that I was like, oh shit, I never looked at it that way.
Right.
It kind of took me aback a little bit when I heard it. So
okay.
Very interesting. I watch it. That's what I do when I get up early Saturday and Sunday. I come down here and I watch some crazy shit that feed my brain.
Because we watch very different things.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have something in common.
Sure.
A show in common.
Mm-hmm. Or a couple.
But for the most part,
right,
we watch totally different things. Like totally different things.
Right.
But, well, that's another topic for another day. So I wanted to get into, we talked about sports. We talked about jobs.
Right.
We talked about a few different things. Mm-hmm. We need to talk about the relationship stuff.
What relationship stuff?
So,
what I do
scroll down, please.
Scroll down. Down. Go down?
Go down.
The fuck? See if I can see my screen.
Can't even see the screen. Okay, you don't need to go down. Okay.
Right here?
Yes. So this is, I think, a topic that a lot of people would want to hear about or want to know.
Okay.
Okay. Of what we think about it or whatever. So.
Right.
Do you think that it is wise as a woman and as a man that when you get into a relationship that you guys discuss the number of partners that you've had beforehand? Because a lot of people say, no, that's the worst thing you could do, or they'll lie about it, or this and that.
Right.
And then a lot of people say, yeah, because if you start off with a whole bunch of secrets and lies already,
right,
and if your partner wants to know, he or she is just going to have to accept that was all before you.
Right.
Whatever happens from this point on out,
right,
is what counts.
Okay.
So, and that also goes to it's kind of a shame too, because with the women thing and how many partners, like this is a double standard with that situation. It will always be a double standard. It's kind of messed up, but I feel like, because I feel one way, then I feel another way. I feel like as a person, as a woman, you should be able to sleep with who you want to sleep with, do what you want to do.
Sure.
But at the same time, you also have to value and not give away all of you, or some girls who sell their souls for money or whatever. I feel like it should be okay, in my opinion, that if your partner wants to know how many people you've been with, that you guys can talk about it. But maybe I'm saying it because I haven't been with a lot of people. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
That's a great question. So, how do I answer that? I think there's some things that you just don't want to know.
Okay.
So,
or some people really don't remember.
Yeah,
because they don't keep track.
And that's not to say that there's that many or there's that few. But what I'm saying is, let's just say we had that conversation.
Okay.
And you was like, oh, my body count is 100. I would be like, what? You understand what I'm saying?
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where that's where the double standard kind of comes in, because if a
Right.
guy's doing with 100,
Right.
the girls really don't make a big deal about it. But as a woman, like that's
Right.
what I'm saying. Well, maybe for me it doesn't seem like a big deal because I'm still in the single digits. So for me, I've always been in very long relationships for the most
Right.
part.
Right.
On and off for 7 years, 2 years, almost 12 years.
Right.
So I mean, when I date in between, whatever, it's whatever. But for the most part, I don't feel any type of way saying it if you were to ask me, because my number is low.
Stop hitting that mic. For
So I know.
Real low.
But I'm saying if my number was high, I might feel a different type of way.
To answer your question, let me look at that question again. Is the number of partners before important? I gotta be honest with you. There's a lot of shit that I don't want to know.
Okay.
So I don't even ask. And you know that. Like, there's a lot of shit that I just want to be blind to.
Right.
And for no other reason than it keeps me, I don't want to say sane, but like there's shit that I don't want ever to cross my mind.
Right.
And so, like I said, if we were to have that conversation and you was like, my shit is like 50, nigga, you know what I mean? I'd be like, what? You understand what I'm saying? And then a lot of dudes ask that shit because they think they want to know.
And then they get upset.
And then they get upset. And then what happens is a whole bunch of doubt sets in where they're like, yo, so damn, it was 50. I wonder if I'm laying my shit down right. You know what I mean? Like, as men, we dig our own holes sometimes and then jump right into it. And so I think I learned that a long time ago. Like, yo, if it's not really going to add to my happiness and my joy, fucking let it go.
But I was curious, and you never gave me a number.
Good guys don't ever tell.
You never gave me a number, and I was just curious, like
because
whether it's
like
20 or whether
I don't
it's
know.
10 or whether it's 40 or 50. To me, it's all before me, so I can't say anything about it.
I don't know. That's the real number. I don't know because, and you should know even now after being with me for so long, there's some shit that I just don't remember for whatever reason. My brain, I have my shit set up in a certain way, is where if I don't feel like stuff is really important to me, it goes in one side and out the other. And then if I need to get to it at a later time, hopefully I've left breadcrumbs so that I can go back and get to it. So shit like that is like, I don't know. And that's not being elusive. I just don't remember. I can't sit back and be like, oh yeah, in 89 I was doing, I don't know. So that and even if I sit down here and I try to recall, I think it would only cause grief, because maybe you might think that I was hiding something. But when there's nothing to hide, if we're already talking about the situation, you might as well get it out. And that's for anybody. Like, that's for any situation. If the subject is on the table, you might as well discuss it all and get it over with and move on or deal with it and move on.
Right.
But that, to me, to answer your question, it doesn't matter. But my biggest thing is I would never want to, and I think a lot of dudes probably feel this way. Like, I would never want to have to be in a situation where I'm with a dude that you have been with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's just out of respect. And it's kind of out of, to like, I guess, a man thing, I guess. I don't know. We're weird like that. That's how come I can't understand how these celebrities and athletes run around with the same chicks. That's how I don't understand that. And that's, one reason why. I think it's a mental thing. I think there's some type of abuse going on, or there's some type of deficiency in the men's brain to be able to do that. Because there's no way that I could sit with another dude who's with a chick that I have been with. That shit just don't make any sense to me.
Okay, so with the Lori Harvey thing,
right?
She dated a father and a son.
That's weird.
So
that's fucked.
If she was to marry Diddy, the son could be like, "Yo, I banged my stepmom."
Yeah. It's nuts. And
that's insane.
It's insane, but that's insane. I don't understand what's going on.
But they were okay with father and son, and she was okay with father and son. Like, I'm really confused.
I don't. You know my position is I don't understand any of it. I don't understand any of it at all. At all. That's all I can say. Like, excuse me. I have no idea how these dudes run around behind each other. I don't know. And it seems like the circle is so small. And the merry-go-round of girls
is it because they've been with somebody and they just want to see what it's like?
Listen,
You know what I mean? Like, because it is like the few women that just go from rapper to rapper to rapper, or baller to baller to baller, or whatever type of guys that they like in whatever profession it is that they do. Because
right.
I feel like a lot of it is not just type. A lot of it is profession. So
Right.
some girls like singers, some girls like rappers, some girls like basketball players, some
Right.
girls like football players.
Right.
So, and that's just what they go for, and that's just what they stick with.
This shit is nuts.
Which is kind of weird to me. It's like a profession thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's weird. I think if you're attracted to somebody, you're attracted to somebody.
Right.
Like who cares what they do if they're not doing anything insane? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it. I feel like I'm going back to the partner thing real quick.
Right.
I feel like that's like a slippery slope and a tricky question, because what if a woman has been with, let's say 30 guys,
Right.
but she is 40 years old, and for 10 years, she had so many relationships for 6 months. And of course, every relationship, she's going to sleep with them. Because, it's like, with 30 sounds a lot, but not really, because then you have like a 20-year-old who's been with 30 guys in the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like the number game is kind of each case is so different,
Right.
that like it is just hard to just hear a number. Like you would have to go kind of dive into it if you're not happy with it, because if you really, and there are guys that want to know, like, will you get the truth or not? Who knows? But they want to know, like, yo, how many dudes you been with?
I don't
Like,
know
how
why.
many?
No, I get what you're saying, but I just
You know
don't
what I mean?
understand
So, but I just, wanted to know what you thought about it, even though I kind of knew, because I've never even got an answer, and I want to know just out of curiosity,
Right.
not to throw any stones at you, or
Right.
not to say anything about anything. I'm just curious because I know.
why. Right.
So, and I told you probably don't even remember,
It's not
because
important,
it's not important
to
to
me.
you.
Right.
But
And
it's low. So.
and it's not, and don't get me wrong, it's not
Right.
that it's not important, but it's like that number would not have it didn't change my opinion or the way that I felt about you. I don't even know
Right.
when we had that conversation. It wasn't like
early on.
Was
it
it?
was really early.
I don't
on,
remember.
yeah.
Like I don't remember. I don't even remember when that conversation was. But like I said, at that point, it wasn't like, oh, I got 50 bodies. So I don't even know why I would ask that.
You
Did I ask that? Okay.
I think I brought it
Okay,
up.
'cause
I
I'm
think
like,
I brought it up.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know why I would
because I
even
wanted
ask
to
that.
know,
Yeah.
and you could never tell me because you don't know.
Well, let me say this.
Okay.
Let me just clear the air. I don't know just because I don't keep track. However, let me just say this. When I was a photographer, I wasn't one of those photographers who was sleeping with the models. So that's not why I don't know.
Only two.
Only two. And one I married and the other one I was in a relationship with for a couple years. So let me just clear that up, because for some reason people think that some of these professions come with automatic ass. You know what I mean? And I guess for some photographers it does. For me, it was all about the business. And I say that to say this. That's not why I don't know the number. That's it. Plus I'm an old head, so even if my number was high, I got years under my
Nah, fam.
under my
12
birth
years right
certificate.
here. Nah.
Under my birth certificate. My birth certificate. I was wild. I was in the streets for a little bit. I was wilding.
Okay.
But I wasn't wilding. Because I've always I have a lot of respect for women. So I feel like a part of that is I hate to say abuse, but I feel like a part of that is the mistreatment of women. And I'm not really for that. It's crazy. There's a lot of weird shit that I got with me. And it could be, I could feel that way because of the relationship that I have with my mother, which is estranged. So I could feel that way about women. Like I don't want to hurt them, probably because I've been hurt by my mom, even though I don't think that it affects anything about the way that I go through life. I just know that I just feel like though that experience with my mother has shaped the way that I have my experiences with women in general. So the body count thing, guys, if it's gonna make you upset, don't even ask. Don't even pose the question. Move on.
Oh, man.
Just hopefully it ain't all stretched out and you good. So there's some
babe.
there's some stuff
Really?
that listen. there's some shit that you better off not knowing. And this body count is probably one of those things. You understand what I'm saying?
But a lot of us women are really curious too, though.
Why though?
I don't know. It's just a curiosity thing. I want to know. I want to know just because I'm curious, and I still don't know. But I guess I'll never know because if you can't remember,
yeah, and that's
I
not
can't
and
make
that's
you
not
remember.
cap. It's just that I don't remember. You know what I mean? And
I remember when I was counting down. I was like, "Wait, me, this one,
I don't
that
know.
one." You were like, "Dude, whatever." I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and but you know what the good thing about that is some women might think that that's that somebody was trying to hide something, but I'm just like, listen, you would have to know me to know that shit like that is not important to me, so I don't remember it, and you know that's the least of the worries. I've forgotten more important shit,
right.
Than that, just out of the way that my brain operates. So yeah, it is what it is. But I would that was a good question. We should have more questions like that. I think I will post a thing up and ask for those type of questions because I'm sure people want to know.
I think so.
Not about us, but just in general,
Right,
like how
about
we handle certain situations or how we would deal with certain things. But it's interesting. I wanted to say one thing else before we leave. You guys have to be not you guys. Let me not preach. In general, we have to be careful about the people that we make our gurus. So I was watching something the other day, and I'm probably late to the party. The chick was an investor, real estate investor, whose house got foreclosed on. She was taking money from other people to invest in houses, but meanwhile, her house got foreclosed on. I don't know. I'm not here to throw shade. I'm just saying we cannot be so hungry that we eat whatever they put in front of us on our plate. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Be careful. Do your research and don't be so thirsty that you drink from any well. That's all I'm saying. That's all I got. I was supposed to freestyle today. That's all right. Freestyle later.
Oh, what?
You want me to freestyle?
Oh, what?
Huh?
Freestyle what?
Freestyle a rap. Bars. Bars.
No. Don't be so thirsty. Drink. How long was that?